What is up, Buttercup? Welcome to the full moon in Leo astrology. So let's get into this. Let's just talk about this full moon really quick. This full moon occurs this Sunday, February 5th, 2023 at 1:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So adjust your time zone accordingly. Okay, my dears. So on a full moon, we have the sun opposed the moon, which means that you have the signs and their polarities. So, since the full moon is in Leo, Leo's polarity or opposite is Aquarius, right? So, that dynamic of the Leo Aquarius dynamic is going to be highlighted. We also have the moon in Leo, so the subconscious mind hanging out in a fire sign. And then we have what is illuminated or coming to our awareness hanging out in the air sign of Aquarius. Okay, so very logical, very thought driven. And Leo, our emotions will be very passion, ambition driven. Okay. So both of these signs and the sun and the moon are in the second decan of these signs. Okay. So with the moon and the second decan of Leo, we are in the energy of the Six of Wands, right? So we're coming into a place of victory. We're coming into finding success, finding achievement after being in the difficulty of the Five of Wands, of the struggle, of the drama, right? Of the fighting or the determination. So after a lot of hard work, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm finally achieving success. This is very, very nice. Then we go into the sun hanging out in Aquarius. This is happening in the second decan of Aquarius with the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords depicts somebody crossing a body of water, right? So they're bridging the gap, right? They're overcoming the conflict. Now they're moving into peace. They're getting from A to B very seamlessly. This is bringing in an energy of things finally making sense, getting lots of clarity, connecting the dots. So the sun in Aquarius is helping us see which way logically we can move forward. And the moon in Leo is helping us see in which way we can apply that knowledge to achieve success in our situation. So check out where Leo 15 to 16 degrees hits you in your zodiac chart, your natal chart. And that's the house that this is most going to affect for you. The sun and the moon are both square Uranus. So I feel at times the collective makes Uranus out to be this really big, bad planet, kind of like they do Saturn, but it's actually a really nice planet. Uranus is known for awakenings. Yeah, it is shakeups, rebellions, sudden change. It's the change, it's the unexpected. So this square with the sun and the moon and Uranus occurring at 15 degrees, this sudden solution we're coming to, this realization we're coming into, may also lead to things not going according to plan. It doesn't mean that those things are going to be bad, but it does mean that it might be stirring some things up, making you have to be more flexible and adjust because Uranus is coming in saying, hey, I have a plan of my own. I helped you find clarity with the sun and the moon to get to victory. But because of this victory playing out like this, the aftermath is going to be shaken up a little bit. It's going to be changed a little bit because now you found a solution. You're embodying a new energy. Okay. We also have the sun 10 degrees away from Saturn. Saturn is the planet of maturity. It's not the planet of just constriction. It's also the planet that is going to teach you lessons, right? To me, it's the Hierophant in tarot. It's a very serious energy, but the sun also allows us to have the realizations that we need around what Saturn is trying to help us see. So with the sun so close to Saturn, we're going to have the sudden realizations about where we need to be more serious, where we need to mature, where we need to come into alignment with a more grown or maybe organized side of ourselves. So this might also lead to petty chaos because as Saturn is constricting us and forcing us to grow, some of us get uncomfortable. And when we get uncomfortable, people tend to act in the defensive energy or their shadow energy, right? They throw the astrological tantrum of, I know I should be doing something different, but I'm struggling to accept change right now, so I'm going to resist it. And that's what the ego does. When we start to break the confines of where our ego is accustomed to being, so if your ego is used to being in the circle, and now Saturn's like, I'm going to make the circle a little bigger because you're growing, your ego's like, no. And it wants to stay really fixed, right? Leo, it wants to stay very fixed where it's at. And so sometimes we fight that energy. this is going to be one of those moments where you're either going to see a lot of people embodying petty chaos, or you're really going to realize that, okay, this is an opportunity for me to step back and accept the fact that I have to stop being petty and nitpicking at all these things and allowing these old emotions that I simply need to address within myself to get in the way of the growth I could achieve. Okay. And I say within yourself as an individual, because everybody's going to be experiencing this aspect and on a different level for themselves. And in turn, it will have a trickle effect for the people around them, right? I'll use myself as an example, because this is actually hitting my Leo moon in my 7th house of relationships. The 7th house is across from the 1st house, right? So my 1st house has Aquarius in it. I'm a Capricorn rising, but it has Aquarius in it. And so that polarity right there tells me that even though this is affecting my house of relationships, it's going to have another effect on myself, right? So the trickle effect of Uranus might be a change in how I perceive myself, right? The 1st house of appearance, right? Identity, self-expression, things of that nature, right? And 7 is partnership and things like that, okay? So look at how the houses connect as well, because you have the cause and the effect, right? So this full moon is going to cause a change in relationships, but will affect how I identify with myself. You get what I'm saying? So be mindful of that when you're looking at your natal chart. Also, we have Venus exalted in Pisces. With Venus so happy in the sign of Pisces, Pisces is intuitive. It is emotional, not in like, oh my God, I'm going to bawl my eyes out, but like emotional in a very gentle, flowing way. And so this brings a lot of harmonious energy to the playing field, which is nice. So it's like if you're hanging out with a group of people and you have people being petty over here, if somebody has if someone has Venus and Pisces, or they're just really embodying that Venusian energy, they can come in and be like, hey, actually, like, this isn't getting us anywhere. Let's take a breather. This would be your mediator. So try to lean more into this Venusian harmony energy that we have going on. We also have Venus square Mars. With this aspect, it's another surface level aspect, but Mars is ambition, it is passion, it is sexual energy, it is also aggression. So this could go two ways, because squares aren't the best aspect, but they typically depict fighting between people on the same side, right? So this could be fighting with a family member or a coworker or a partner, right? And it doesn't have to be a big blow up, but it's petty arguments about things. Or it could just be really surface level, like sexual flirting with people, or like joking, but it might be like kind of those like sarcastic jokes. It could be like that, but people really trying to flirt with the Venus square Mars aspect. Then finally, we have Mercury and Pluto conjunct, right? Hanging out together in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is very authority driven energy. Capricorn is very direct in nature. It loves legacy. It loves to build. It loves to get ish done. So with Mercury and Pluto there, this is very direct communication that is going to lead to transformation. Okay. So Mercury, right? Mind, communication, intellect. Pluto, death, rebirth, transformation. These are being highlighted in Capricorn. And so this is where people could be really sharp tongued. They could be saying things out of like their anger, or they could just be saying things out of their love, very bluntly, very straightforward, like, hey, I like you. Hey, I'm struggling right now. I need to be alone, right? It could go either way. So allow yourself to be mindful of how you're communicating with people at this time and what energy you really want to embody, because the energy you embody during this full moon is going to more so dictate how peaceful it is for you. Because when we talk about astrology is not the end all be all. It is just energy, and every energy has polarity. So you could choose to be in the shadow aspects of Leo that are more based in like the ego, that are more based in like fear and defensiveness and this superiority complex, or you can be in the light of it, which is lighthearted and loving and generous, and it loves attention, but it is also very kind. Every zodiac sign has polarity, okay, which means that we all have polarity when we are affected by these other energies. Every zodiac sign, every planet, everything is a polarity. So ask yourself what side of the spectrum you want to be on. What energies are you currently embodying, and what energies do you wish you were embodying more of? And make the effort for yourself, not just for the people around you or the situations you're hoping to achieve, the goals or success you want to acquire, but simply for your own personal growth, what energy do you most want to embody during this full moon to embrace more of maybe the Venusian energy that's very loving and receptive and present? Okay. Or maybe you want to embody more of the sun. Maybe you want to get more of the clarity or a little bit of it all. Okay. Ask yourself those questions, journal about it, and whatnot. The live chat for this full moon is tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Patreon. So if you want to have access to that reading, check out Patreon. It will be available to you there. And if you want access to the individual zodiac signs and how this full moon is going to affect them for their individual readings, about 10 to 15 minutes each, those are also available on Patreon. So go ahead, check that out. The link is in the description box down below. I'd love to have you as part of the family, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.